Alright, so today is June 23rd, and last night was the first night of our last week of our freezer challenge, and we just had some leftovers. Last night we had some leftover of the shrimp stir fry. Tonight I'm just going to make we're just going to have tacos and rice. My husband is working on some things right now. We are going to butcher our meat chickens tomorrow, so he's getting everything set up so that we've got it ready. We can start first thing in the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rice started, and then I'll finish making I'll make the ground beef and everything else when it's closer for him to be ready to eat. So I've made this several times before on my channel. So I'm toasting up the rice in my skillet with a little bit of oil. And then when the rice starts looking kind of, I don't really know how to describe it. It'll look more white, sort of dry, I think. I don't really know how to explain it. But then we'll go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients. So I'm going to get out some garlic cloves. Let those warm up a little bit so I can dice them into our rice. And I think I said dice, I meant mince. So when you're going to butcher your chickens, you want to make sure that they haven't been fed. Excuse you, kitty cat. You're going to knock my camera over. What? You want to make sure that they haven't been fed in about 24 hours. And I just realized my head was slightly cut off here. You want to make sure that they haven't been fed in about 24 hours so that there's nothing in their gullet. Otherwise, you run the risk of squeezing stuff out while you're butchering them. So, let's see. I'm just going to use a little bit of this store-bought minced onion. Let's see if we can get our garlic going here. So I don't burn my onion. Alright, I'm going to put about a tablespoon of this chicken bouillon. You can use just the regular chicken bouillon, maybe a little more. The regular chicken bouillon, or you can use there's one that's made with tomato already in it. You can use that one. I am going to add a little bit of tomato sauce. This is some home canned sauce. Stir that around a little bit. I've got some water that I heated up in the microwave. I'm going to pour about 2.5 cups in there and stir that up just until it's mixed really well. Now we're going to put our lid on, and we're going to let this cook for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we'll give it a little toss, add more water if it looks like it needs some, and let it cook another 15 minutes. That's something in my yard. I don't know what that was. Something was blowing around. Anyway, so we'll let this cook for 15 minutes and then I'll be back and we'll go ahead and flip it and make sure it gets cooked all the way. All right, so our timer's going off for our first 15 minutes. Ooh. So I'm just gonna kind of toss this just a little bit. It does look like it needs a little bit more water, so I'm going to pour just a little more water in here. And then we're going to put our lid back on, and we're going to let that cook another 5 to 15 minutes depending on how much time your rice needs to finish cooking. So I'm going to set mine for 10, and then I'm going to check it, and if it's not done at 10, then I can let it go a few more minutes. Usually though, 10 minutes is enough when I cook it like this. So once this is done, I'm going to check with my husband and see where he's at in his process, and then I'm going to go ahead and start putting together the rest of our dinner. All right, so I decided, actually I'm going to go ahead and start cutting up my lettuce and tomato. Get some of this stuff out of the way here. And I actually do not need to cut up the lettuce because I have some lettuce left over from the other day that we had used to make salad, and those pieces are small enough to use on our tacos. So I'm just going to cut up our tomatoes. Sadly, I do not have my own tomatoes yet. I do have a few cherry tomatoes that they're just blushing. They're not quite ready yet, or I would go ahead and add those. That's a plastic bag. So I'm just going to cut these 2 tomatoes into small pieces and put them in this bowl that we can use to add to our tacos. And I'm going to taste this and see how it tastes. It's actually not terrible, but still nothing like homegrown, so we'll take it for now. When I was out in the garden earlier, I could see that some of my tomatoes are starting to flower. Some of my full-size tomatoes are starting to flower, so I'm really excited about that. And my dad has a garden going, so if he ends up with a ton of tomatoes, I'll probably end up with a bunch of tomatoes from him again as well, which is completely fine because we can always find something to make those into around here. So alrighty, so there's our tomato. I'm gonna stick this back in the fridge. And I just have store-bought shells here. And that's what we normally use for our tacos unless we're doing something special and we fry up our own. I do have another box someplace, I hope. It seems like I might not have any more. So what am I gonna do? Let's see. So I do have some more tortillas here. I think I might just fry up some more tostadas, fry them up into tostadas, and we can mix and match our dinner with whatever we need chip-like. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of oil in this little skillet here. Not a whole lot, so we don't need a lot. And I'm going to let that start heating up. Alright, so our rice is done, so I'm going to take it off the burner that was hot. I'm going to leave the lid on it to keep the steam in, and we're just going to let it sit there. I'm going to keep letting this heat up a little bit. Alright, so I'm just going to fry up a few of these shells. maybe 8 or 10, and then that should be plenty. So the items that came out of the freezer for today's meal is the ground beef. These tortillas were in the freezer. I didn't take them out today. These are the ones I had taken out the other day. The rice was in the freezer, and I also brought up a bag of peanut butter cookie dough that I've had in the freezer that we can make up later tonight for our dessert. I think I'm gonna have to add some more oil because I used more of that than I thought I was going to. And then we'll let that heat for a minute since I added the cold oil in there. And we do have some beans left over from when we made tostadas the other day, so I got those beans out so I can heat them up, and we can add whatever we want to whatever type of shell that we want to make up our dinner. All right, I'm gonna do a couple more, I think, and then that should be plenty. And actually, I'm gonna make a couple more just because I want to try and use up some of this grease, some of this oil that's in the pan. All right, so here are our tostada shells. I'll set these over on the other counter. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the ground beef started cooking. My husband is gonna run up to Walmart and get a few more things that we need for tomorrow. And so when he gets home and takes a shower, then everything should be ready. And as soon as he's done with the shower, then we can go ahead and eat. Like I've told you guys, he works for his brother's lawn care service. So he's out in the weather, and it was hot today, but I didn't realize how hot. I went out, I've got some more green beans that I need to get planted, and so I was making sure the space where they're going is clean. So I was doing some weeding. I was outside, initially I was outside maybe 10 minutes, and I was dripping sweat. So I don't know how he makes it all day long out in that heat. I would never survive. But so I like to try to make sure that he has a good dinner when he comes home, because I know that he probably didn't eat very well during the day. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this ready, and then our whole dinner will be ready so that when he gets home and is ready to eat, it will be ready. All right, so Joe is back from Walmart. He is in the shower right now. As soon as he gets out, we can go ahead and make our plates. I warmed up the shells, the beans. I've got everything out for us to make whatever we want to make. And so we'll be able to eat a nice dinner. Tomorrow, I'm not sure what I'm gonna make for dinner, but it will be something that I've pulled out of the freezer. So I'll be back tomorrow to show you what we decided. All right, so dinner tonight, I'm just gonna bake up some fish, gonna make some rice. I'm gonna make a salad from the lettuce that I got from the garden. And then I might make another vegetable to go with it. I've got some broccoli in the fridge. I think I might do that. All right, so simple dinner. I'm just gonna put all this together. I've got I'm actually working on making some more yogurt. I was just about out of my last batch, so I started some new, so that's what that is. And I'm just gonna get this going. It's just gonna be a nice simple dinner. All right, there's 6 left. I'm gonna go ahead and make all of them.
So this fish that I like to buy, it's called swai, S-W-A-I, and it comes in individual plastic packages that are sealed, so you can just pull out whatever you need for a meal, whoever's eating. So I just had 6 left in this package, so I went ahead and I'm just going to cook them all. I usually just put a little bit of lemon pepper over the top, and that is the only seasoning I give them. So I'm just going to season them up and get them in the oven. Starting my rice, when we eat this fish, we typically eat rice with it.
right, into the oven.
So on this day, along with our fish and rice, I'm just going to roast up some broccoli. So I'm just getting it cut into nice pieces. I'm going to put it on this cookie sheet with the parchment paper, and then I'm going to drizzle some oil over it, add a little salt and pepper, mix that all up really well, and then I'll put that in the oven to roast while the fish is cooking as well. So earlier in the day, I picked a bunch of lettuce from my green stalk. It's been soaking in really cold water all day to stay crisp, or not all day, but it's been soaking in some cold water for a while. I've got some that's gotten a little too big, so I've got to peel that off the stalk. But now I'm just going to run it through my salad spinner. If you've never used a salad spinner, what it's got is that little basket inside that's got openings that goes inside that main clear bowl. And then you put the top on that I'm doing right now. And then that pump on the top, there's lots of different models. Mine has the pump on the top. But all I'm going to do is just pump that, and it's going to make that inner basket spin. And so that will spin all of the water out of your lettuce that's in that green basket so that it is pretty dry. The salad spinners will get them really dry. So I'm going to let that go so that our salad leaves are ready to make into our dinner salad.
We've actually got some little baby cucumbers in our garden, so I'm super excited. These are from the store because we didn't have any that were quite ready, but I am really excited for them to be ready. All right. Alright, so while the fish finishes cooking, we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to have some of our salad. It's almost done, but we're going to eat our salad while we're waiting. So sometimes I'll buy this mozzarella pearls and we'll put this on our salad. It's delicious. Alright, so our fish is done. So we've got fish, rice, broccoli. We had our salad already, although there is more left if we decide we want some. So we're going to go ahead and make our plates and eat dinner. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit of lemon juice on my fish and probably on my rice too because I like that. Maybe on my broccoli. I usually just like a little lemon juice on this whole plate when we have this. Right there. So here's what we've got for tonight. Fish obviously came out of the freezer. The rice came out of the freezer. Everything else came out of the fridge. The lettuce came out of our own garden, so that was awesome. So I'll be back tomorrow with whatever we have for dinner tomorrow. I'm not really sure yet. We finished out our June pantry challenge. So the last 2 days of June, I was actually not feeling well. So on the 29th, which was a Thursday, we had leftovers. Actually, Joe had leftovers. I didn't eat anything. I wasn't feeling well, like I said. But that was what I had planned. We had several leftovers from the meals throughout the week, so we were just going to eat that. And then on Friday, I was still not feeling that great, and so we just had some sandwiches. So it didn't really end my challenge on a super strong note. However, I do feel like I used something out of the freezer at least more than half the time, maybe around 2/3 of the time. So, you know, not every day like my goal was, but you know, life happens and it is what it is. All those other little cliche sayings, whatever you want to come up with. But they're true. So I did still manage to get some things cleaned out of my freezers that we needed to get eaten. They were delicious, so we didn't want to leave things in and let them get freezer burned. So we got some things cleared out. We've made some space for anything new coming in. We did start eating out of the garden, which was not part of my challenge, but was very exciting. So I just want to say thanks for hanging out with me, watching while we worked through this last week of June. I do very much appreciate it. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you are not currently subscribed, if you would consider subscribing, that would really help me out. I would appreciate it very much. And it also will let you know when my next videos are ready for you to take a look at. All right, I will see all of you in the next video. Thanks, have a great day.